Hey guys, me and Wade here, back with another Borderlands video, and today is day 5 of the hunt. I'm going to start off where I start every day at the moment, and that's sorting out my gear and getting rid of all the gear I don't need and starting fresh. Well, coming up to the last day, I'm around the 19-hour mark, so I'm probably going to put in another 5 hours today and hopefully hit the 24-hour mark, and we'll see how it goes. As you can see, I'm just sorting out my gear and coming up with a plan for today. I know that I won't be doing the DLC for Bounty of Blood. I just haven't really got the time, and I haven't used my time wisely enough to get it done, even though there's a lot of points up for grabs. So the main aim today is to get some of the takedowns done and farm some of the gear that I just haven't collected, and just go back and revisit some enemies that owe me one, is what I'll probably say. So I've sold this gear, I updated my SDUs, and we got straight to it. The first thing I started with was tipping Moxie, because she owed me one more gun still, being the hail. So I spent a fair amount of money on Moxie so that she could send me my gun. She did eventually send me the hail, which is worth 2 points and gets me off the mark today, so I was pretty happy with that, and that's a decent gun to have. I then decided to go to the Guts of Carnivora. There was a enemy here I wanted to farm, so I went straight in and found the Tyreene. He wasn't the boss that I was looking for, but he owed me a gun. He did give me a drop on the first time round. The Trevenator is not the gun I'm talking about though, it's the wagon wheel, which is worth 3 points. This is the boss I wanted to farm. It's just the Agonizer. There's a couple of Mayhem drops that this boss drops, and that's what I was looking for, because that's where the points are at the moment. I did get a Moxie's endowment during the first farm, which increased my luck, max health and magazine size. So it was a nice addition artifact to my arsenal, since I didn't really need a snowdrift because my movement speed was quite good as it is. So we just farmed the Agonizer, as there was a fair amount of drops that he was going to give me. So it didn't take me too long either, and it was giving me a lot of gear with each drop. It did take some time going through it all. On this occasion I think I got something. I honestly can't remember, I've been editing for so long now. But I'm not going to keep marking what's not points and what is points now. I'm just going to be marking the gear that is counting for points, so because you can see the drops I'm getting are a lot. But I've got a launch pad which is 5 points, and that was a world drop because it doesn't have a specific drop, so yeah, as a world drop it counted. White Elephant is worth 3 points, and that is a specific drop to the Agonizer. So I did farm him. I didn't spend too long farming the Agonizer. I did speed up the searching for the loot bit. Got the Agonizer 1500, which was worth a nice 2 points. But yeah, it didn't take me too long at all, and the Hell Shot was making very quick work of the Agonizer, and I was getting the points I wanted, and just generally enjoying killing the Agonizer. I mean, it is one of those boss battles I do enjoy. Backburner worth 7 points, as you can only get from Mayhem 6 Plus, and I was on Mayhem 11, so that was a very welcome addition. I then decided I wanted to go to Athenas. I faced the Jubicard Ratch first because he had 2 drops he owed me, so I wanted at least one from all these enemies. I knew I wasn't going to get every legendary, so I did just kind of at least want one. Fortunately at this time round he did drop me the Nagata, and that's worth 3 points. I almost forgot, but all good. Captain Trump was the target I actually had in mind. As you can see, my Hell Shot was still killing it at this point. I've been having a lot of luck with that. Captain Trump had a couple of drops he owed me again. He gave me the Tankman shield though, which is worth 7 points, as that is another Mayhem exclusive gun. I then went on to the Great Vault doing this revenge tour. Troy didn't drop me anything through my first playthrough. He didn't drop me anything at this point either, but his drops were quite generous. Eventually he gave me a drop where I did actually get something, being the Death Grip, I believe. Yes, it was the Death Grip. 7 points I got for that. Another Mayhem exclusive. So I was pretty happy with where things were going. I then decided to go to Tyreene. because she was another boss that didn't give me anything from my first run. So while I was doing this like comeback revenge tour on the enemies that owed me, yeah, she was definitely on the hit list, and I didn't have a problem farming her. I was pretty happy with the guns I had. The hail was doing good, the hell shock was a great addition, so was the back burner, and I kept giving my clone the back burner, and that just seems to wipe Tyreene out pretty easily. So yeah, farming bosses with Zane at this point wasn't too bad. I did have some okay gear. We managed to get the Queen's Call from Tyreene, so that was a nice 3 points added to my total, and we do have a lot of points to get through, so I was hoping to get as many points as I can during this run, and I was checking most of them. I then went up against the Rampager. Now this is an enemy that definitely owes me. I think for those of you who have been watching my series, you'll remember the first time we went up against the Rampager during the story, and I killed him on the ledge, and I know to this day that is going to be the Duck. I know that he dropped me the Duck, but that was very unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm still not over it, and so yeah, the Rampager owed me, and I was determined to get something from the Rampager. He does have a Mayhem exclusive drop as well, so yeah, I had to farm him a handful of times, and I did get lucky with the good Juju worth 7 points, so I was pretty impressed with that. We then went on to continue the revenge tour of enemies that owed me. Aurelia was next on that list, unfortunately for her. She was giving me some very healthy drops, and she had a fair amount of gear that she owed me as well, so got straight to it. I thought this time she was going to give me a legendary drop, but she gave me a load of Malik Banes for some reason unknown to me. She did drop me a unique gun though, being the Ice Queen, worth 2 points, so it still gets our tally going up. Kept farming her for a little bit more. She gave me the Firestorm, which is another world drop, but it counts to overall total. Firestorm only drops through world drops, so I was quite happy to see it for 5 points, and yeah. So we carried on farming her. As you can see, the hail was quite helpful in points when I wasn't using my hell shot, or when I ran out of ammo with my hell shot more like. So yeah, she was being very generous with her drops. Gave me the Juliet's Dazzle Mayhem drop for 7 points, so happy with that. During this drop, she even gave me the Frozen Heart, which is 3 points, so it's 10 points from one drop. Thanks, Aurelia. I then headed to Atlas and thought I'd take on the Power Troopers before going up against Katagawa Jr. As you can see, I've got a drop there in the background, and once I cleared out these enemies, I will go check it out. Get the last Power Trooper done. I then got the Helix, which is worth 3 points, so that's a great addition. Katagawa Jr. was a very easy farm with the Hell Shock. Didn't take me much time at all. There was the Sandhawk I was aiming to get from Katagawa Jr. because that's just a good gun in general. It's a Mayhem gun, so it's worth a decent amount of points. So that's what I was aiming for at this point. And as you can see, his drops were quite generous. During this round, I realised that I actually missed one, and the Firestorm sniper counts for him, so that's 3 points. I forgot that he was the dedicated drop, but yeah, so that was a nice surprise. I kept on farming him because I really wanted that Sandhawk, and my patience paid off because I got a Incendiary Sandhawk for 7 points, which was a very nice addition. I decided to go to an arms race because I did have some gear I needed to get from the arms race. Not that I wanted to spend too much time, but I definitely wanted a plasma coil before I attempted the takedowns, and a Dark Army was still up for grabs, and the class mods were still up for grabs. I think I'd only got the Spy and the Kenzie at this point, and the other two class mods would be another 10 points. So thought I'd give it a go on the arms race. I did get legendaries along the way. I mean, this time I only found a Devastator. It's not worth any points, but it was making my life a lot easier getting a legendary during the arms race, especially when going up against Harker. I mean, it's not exactly doing the damage that the Hell Shock was in previous days, but it was still cutting it, and that's what counted. I thought this run was going to end quite badly, but managed to get a plasma coil out of it, and so I thought I could do the takedowns after that. So we went straight over to the Malawan Takedown, and I was pretty confident in this one. I'd done this one a couple of times, and Wotan and the Valkyries all had a fair amount of drops that I was aiming to get, and there was a lot of points up for grabs for doing the Mayhems, as most of their gear in this particular takedown is worth about 9 points each. So yeah, using the plasma coil, and my clone was dominating using the plasma coil. It was a breeze. The Kraken didn't take too much time, didn't give me any drops, but I was confident that this wasn't going to take me long at all. So got onto the Valkyries again, same rules apply really. The clone and drone were absolutely killing it. Plasma coil was doing a ton of damage, which is what I wanted. I did find a red card recharger. I actually got 2 of them. That's worth 8 points, so I was happy with getting off the mark with that. I then had Wotan the Invincible, who wasn't really that invincible. Again, the plasma coil was really cutting it, and when the plasma coil wasn't, it was my corrosive Tizzy, which was actually doing a fair amount of damage as well. But the problem with the Tizzy is ammo consumption. It just plows through it. My clone got the brain, so I did get all parts of Wotan. And then it was just time to check out all the gear. I did see the redistributor quite early on, but I forgot to count it at that point. I did go back to it, so it is there. But for now, we'll count the Moonfire, which is worth 9 points. And then the redistributor, which I mentioned, worth another 9 points. I then sped this up a little bit because I didn't really get anything from these little loot pools. Once we got to the loot pool in the corner, found another redistributor, which I'd already got by this time, and the Tig's Boom worth 9 points. So there was a decent amount of points we got from that. On to the next takedown. This one was a lot harder. I was still in Mayhem 11, and I can't pronounce this boss. I'm just going to refer to this boss as the Relentless, because he is relentless and it is part of his name. But yeah, so we're on Mayhem 11. I'm going up against the Relentless, and it wasn't as easy as I wanted. My clone was using the corrosive Tizzy and did the majority of the work, and then the plasma coil finished him off in the end. And there is a lot of specific loot from this takedown, so there was a lot of points up for grabs. So I definitely needed to get this to get some more points on the board, and I got the light speed for 10 points from the Relentless, which was welcome addition. Carrying on this takedown to get to Scorch, which is another boss that drops a lot of drops for a lot of points. I went down, and I honestly I was struggling. I just couldn't get in the groove, and I didn't really know what to do at this point. So I sort of took a step back and rethought my strategy up. I figured I only needed to be on Mayhem 6+, so after I respawned I decided to change to Mayhem 6 instead of Mayhem 11. I had some okay modifiers I was pretty happy with, and I was happy with all my Mayhem 10 gear, so I figured that it should be a lot easier, and it did end up being a bit easier, to be fair. So we're back into the takedown, going up against the Relentless. Again, my corrosive Tizzy was doing a lot of the work in the hands of my clone. I was hoping that he would drop me some more points, as he'd given me the light speed previously, and this time around he gave me the other shield mod, which I can't pronounce, but it's worth 10 points, so 20 points from him in total, which isn't too bad. Finally, we're up against Scorch. Most of his gear is worth about 12 points, so again, it was an enemy I definitely wanted to go up against, and he was actually fairly difficult. I was barely scratching him, and it came down to my clone doing the majority of the work. I even ran out of ammo at some points, having to resort to the guns I wasn't using as much, but the hail was cutting it when I was low on ammo with like my Tizzy and my plasma coil and my Sandhawk at this point in time. So yeah, thanks to my action skills mostly, if I'm really honest, I did manage to finish him off. You can see there was a lot of loot I dropped around, but it was the loot specifically from him I was most interested in. So and he did have quite a generous loot pool, to be fair. So we got straight into looking at his gear when I'm not setting myself on fire. Got the Globetrotter, which is worth 12 points, and the other piece of gear he gave me was the Web Slinger, worth another 12 points. So I was pretty happy with that run, and thought I'd go back to where it all began and face some of the earlier enemies that I hadn't yet farmed. So first on the list was going to be Shiv. So he had 2 drops that I hadn't got from him, so I was hoping for at least one of them. I was using a combination of guns at this point. I was messing around with the hail and all sorts at this point. He gave me the Ripper, which is worth 3 points. I then went on to face Scrack. I needed again 2 drops from Scrack. I think one was the Infiltrator and the other one was the Skek Seal, and I kind of was just going to be satisfied if I could get at least one. So took him down again, another generous loot pool, probably thanks to my artifact because I still had the luck running. Got a Skek Seal for 3 points, and we're still well on our way to getting a healthy amount of points. Went up against the Jabberwocky, or whatever it is. You've all figured out I'm not good with names by now. Sandhawk. This is a good demonstration of what the Sandhawk was doing. I was using it a fair amount. I mean, just not against the bosses as much, but it was dishing out some damage. It was just his ammo consumption that was a problem. I've got the Hellfire for 3 points and just carried on. Went up against the Unstoppable while on Eden 6 because the Unstoppable owed me a couple of drops, and just thought I'd do Revenge Tour Mark 2 and face these enemies that all owed me. I've got the Devastator from the Unstoppable, which is worth 3 points, so adds up to our general total when I'm not getting killed by a Goliath. The Billies definitely owed me because they made my life hell when I was trying to get to level 25. I was quite fortunate to get something from these guys in the end. It wasn't that though, it wasn't the Bangarang. Luckily I've got the Devil's Foursome. That's worth another 3 points to our overall total. And then farmed Grave Ward for a little bit. I mean, he wasn't too much of an issue. My clone was doing a majority of the work, and the Sandhawk was actually contributing most to farming Grave Ward. Everyone knows what Grave Ward's loot pool is like. He's one of the better farms. I've got the Grave for him for 3 points, which was handy. So like I said, I've got one, and I was pretty happy to carry on. I was then going to go face Tron. Before I did that, I went up against Chupacabra to try my luck at the Chupa's Organ, which I got for 3 points. Quite lucky, it was first time around as well. But the main one I wanted to go up against was Traunt, because Traunt had a Mayhem gun that I was hoping to get quite early on, just for an extra 7 points. And not only that, it's not a bad SMG. Traunt's always been an easy farm in the past, and he definitely owed me from not giving me anything the first time round, which I was still a little bit miffed about. I could see my luck had changed though. I got the Kherson, 7 points, exactly what I wanted. Didn't take much time at all. Then went to face an enemy that I hadn't faced, which is the Mother of the Grogans. I was hoping to get, I think this one only has 1 drop, but I was hoping to get it anyway, just because I was in the area, heading towards another boss. I had an Incendiary Tizzy, which was quite helpful at this point in time. Got the Hornet for 3 points, which is obviously very nice. It was the Warden I was actually aiming for, because the Warden had a couple of drops that I wanted, one of them being a Mayhem drop. I got the Freeman for 3 points, which is obviously a very good thing. Found him a final time because I wanted the Mayhem launcher that he was going to be dropping me for 7 points. So yeah, I killed him, and I saw a rocket launcher come out thinking it was the Plague Bearer. It wasn't. I'd only found him a handful of times before this particular attempt, but patience paid off. I got 7 points for the Plague Bearer. I then decided to go to Sanctuary and add up all my gear. It was at this point I decided to add the Cold Warrior as my bonus world drop for an extra 5 points, as I didn't farm it, but I did see it. So yeah, I added up all my gear from day 5 so I could get to my overall total, and there was a lot of gear, so I did have to put it on 2 pages. First page comes up to 87 points, and you can see all my gear there. The second page was 117 points, totaling day 5 to 204, which is a massive amount of points compared to the rest of the week. I got 405 in total, and you can see day 5 had a massive change that since I had Mayhem mode unlocked. Hunt of the day goes to the Sandhawk. I was really happy once I got it. It was a relatively easy farm from Katagawa Jr., and even though there wasn't many clips of me using it, it was a gun that was getting me out of trouble when needed. It was a nice addition to my arsenal. It was just its ammo consumption that let it down, but otherwise it's a relatively good gun. So once I finished the hunt, I just finished with a over 24 hours progress, so was pretty happy with that. I really enjoyed doing the hunt. I enjoyed like running around looking for gear, being really speedy. I mean, granted, there were some low points, like getting killed by enemies I wouldn't have expected to get killed by, or farming an enemy multiple times to get a relatively easy drop and be unlucky with it. But there were some funny moments, like Moxie doubling up, which was pretty entertaining, and the Rampager screwing me over by giving its drop on a cliff, which was just my luck at that point. I think my highlight goes to Harker and killing him with all the hell shocks. I think I was very lucky to get the hell shocks as many times as I did during the arms race, and it was quite satisfying wiping Harker out with the hell shocks, and it was just really satisfying melting all the bosses and waiting to hear that legendary ping to get that drop, and it was just exciting getting those drops, and really refreshing playing through this game again. I decided to do a hunt of the week using the 5 hunts of the day from the week, so there's an overall winner. You won't be surprised to know that I have chosen the Hell Shock. That gun was really helpful to me. I had it multiple times, and it was one of the highlights of my week. Before we finish this video, I want to say a massive thank you to K6 and Joltstu for putting this event together and raising all this money for charity. That's about it from me. I hope you've enjoyed the series. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be doing the hunt next year, but for now, it's goodbye from me.